We now turn to a visionary leader in Israel's innovation ecosystem. Please welcome Erel Margalit, founder and chairman of JVP and Margalit Startup City, who has been instrumental in transforming regions through technological entrepreneurship and economic development. Erel, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think that a lot of people from outside of Israel are desperate to find ways to help, especially with Israel's north, and can't really figure out the right way to do that other than, flying to Israel and volunteering themselves. But your field, venture capital investments, might be the exact way to do that. What can you tell us about investment opportunities in Israel's north, and what is the Margalit Startup City and JVP doing there?
So about 5 years ago, we established in the city of Kiryat Shmona, which is just about on the Lebanese border next to Tel Hai College and next to 28 kibbutzim, climate tech, food tech, ag tech hub. And just before the war, we had about 104 companies there, between there and Rosh Pina, which is about 15 kilometers to the south. And what happened after October 8th, of course, is that many of these companies have been evacuated. But about 6 months ago, we reopened the center in Mahanaim. Mahanaim is near an airport 20 kilometers to the south. And about a month ago, we reopened our center in Kiryat Shmona. And so not all the startups, just about 30% of the startups have come back. The students of Tel Hai are coming back. And many people in the kibbutzim and the city are beginning to come back in a big way. But there are interesting companies. Some of them are struggling. Some of them are succeeding. And we have a big impact fund together with Israel's Innovation Authority and together with JNF and together with Bank of Paulim and Deloitte and some major partners that are with us. And we're helping to continue to invest in startups that are trying to change the world of food, the world of climate, and the world of agriculture.
So are there any particular startups in Israel's northern region that have gotten your attention as someone whose business it is to stay in the loop on these things?
Yes, so there's a great company called Green Eye, which was actually founded by three founders from Shaldag, which is a great unit in the army a few years ago. And they are able to cut 90% of the pesticides when they spray a field because they have a camera and a semiconductor chip that distinguishes between the weed and the crop. So think of it like an inkjet for spraying the field. So they're able to save a lot of the chemicals and really have a very accurate penetration just to the weeds. So that's a great company that is now coming into America in a big way. And that's one of the examples where you can have great cooperation between the Galilee and the great agriculture and things that they're developing there, and North America and the rest of the world, which is really needing new innovation in many ways.
Yes, absolutely. I think those innovations coming out of the North is like the best way to show that the North is alive, thriving, succeeding, and can do so once more. But what are your predictions for the day after, so to speak, once we're in the clear, in the calm zone, and can not only rehabilitate, but perhaps even thrive again? How do you see Israel's high-tech and business sectors moving forward?
Well, JVP is active throughout the country and actually here in New York as well. So we have a fintech, a cyber, an insurtech, SaaS AI hub. And so many of our companies are now beginning to surpass $100 million of revenues. So companies like Ernix, which is surpassing $100 million, ControlUp, Nanit, which is the #1 baby monitor for sleep in the US that came from the Technion and Cornell, but is now most of US parents are using it in order to track their baby's sleep. So there's big ideas and big companies, and Israelis, together with their partners in New York and together with their partners in Europe and around the world, we're still developing some of the most interesting, innovative companies that are coming around the world in the fields of the intersections between AI and cyber and fintech and insurtech and enterprise. So this is going to continue. And in order for continuing the success, what I preach to Israelis is, you need to work on your product in Israel. You need also to be very connected to the market in the US, very connected to the market in Europe, and sometimes in Asia as well. And I hope that the conclusion of the war will come in soon. And with the release of the hostages, a lot of us are optimistic. Israel needs a new chapter after the war. It needs to transmit this message to the world, transmit this message to the younger people who've served in Miluim and then served around the country. We need a new chapter of rebuilding in the north, in the south, in the center of Israel, and we need a new chapter to connect to the rest of the world. The world is looking for that, and we need to give them the sign on a business level and a political level.
It makes a lot of sense, right, to show that not only Israel is thriving, but all of Israel is thriving across all regions. But at the same time, many people are quite afraid for Israel, and I can only assume that it affects investments as well, especially given the dropped credit ratings by Moody's and S&P. Do you think there is legitimate cause for concern, and what should we be looking at or taking into account when kind of thinking about what this is going to cause in the long run?
Well, there's legitimate criticism in the budget of the state of Israel because the law that allows many of the ultra-Orthodox community not to serve in the army, and the law that doesn't distribute the budget in a way that we think should be distributed, has gotten criticism not only in Israel but also around the world. So what we're saying is this. Look, the high-tech industry in Israel has been very strong. It's been holding the economy. We're still continuing to create some of the most interesting companies. We're still continuing to partner with places like New York and Paris, and London, and Hong Kong and Singapore and other places around the world. And so this is going to be pushing forward. What we are asking the government is to have a much more business-savvy budget that will allow people to go back to work, whether it's high-tech, whether it's small businesses, whether it's the Israelis that are serving in the army sometimes 70 days, 90 days, allowed to distribute the burden between people in a more equal and equitable way. But, you know, I think that for many of us in the high-tech community, we realize that high-tech has become not only a business sector, but also a card for diplomacy. So we are dealing with the UAE, we are dealing with the Saudis, we are dealing with different regions in the world, and themes like cybersecurity, fintech, insurtech, water, agriculture, climate tech, all these things are things that Israel is continuing to lead, not only in the world, but also in the region. And what we're looking for is a political move that will complement the kind of things that we're doing on the ground economically, that would give a boost to the alliance that Israel can have in the region and taking the country to the next stage. We hope that the U.S. administration, together with Israel, we hope that the business community will work with us to open a new chapter. A lot of the young people in Israel need a new chapter. They've been busting their ass on the battlefield, but they want to come back and build companies and build the economy and build the social concepts and projects that Israel so much needs for the younger generation.
Absolutely. Let's hope that the government supports these many important endeavors. Erel Margalit, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.